y'all. Brett with the Swafford Homestead. Making a little different video today. Going back to doing a little garden work. I made a video about this, I don't know, a year or two ago. But I haven't seen one come out lately, and I thought I might remind people. Pruning your squash plants. Be a good name for it, I guess. When you grow it's actually a zucchini plant, but squash, zucchini, squash. It's all basically the same thing, it's just different which one you got. But this is an actual, I think, the Black Beauty zucchini. Goes the long, dark green ones. But if you notice when you start a plant, so I started here. He came up, made a big round plant, but as it started putting on fruit, it started laying over. You can see, like I said, from here, now it's out to here. It's almost 2 foot, well, it's 18 inches long anyway. But there's a whole lot of limbs on this thing. It will not fruit back this way again. The fruit's always going to be out. It might divide off. I've seen them split. You know, go 2 different ways at the same time. But all this excess leaves gives a place for your squash bugs to land and lay eggs. It gives them a place to hide. I'm looking at squash eggs, I think, right now. They've snuck in on me. And it's extra greenery for the plant to support. Now, some people don't like cutting it off. I like to. I like to trim it back and actually be able to see the stem and see if we've got any issues going on with the stem, like the borer, vine borer issue, which you know before it's too late. Maybe this way you can spot maybe some damage before it gets too bad. The other thing I like to do it for, you can see there's a little organic humus poured out here. I put it around the base. As I cut the limbs off and it gets enough room, I'm going to take a shovel or take some soil, and I'm going to move the soil slowly up on this stem and start burying it, which it will have a better root base this way, because it will root out where it touches the ground. You know, it puts out small roots, so if I bury it, it will get a little better root system, and it kind of hides the stem from the vine borers. It fertilizes the plant. I think it's got a lot of advantages. Now let's talk about which limbs to cut on the plant. Now all these limbs, even though they grow sporadically and they wrapped around each other and it looks like a big mess, they're actually balancing the plant. It's balanced by these limbs. These top ones and the side ones are all about balance. But as it grows out, it gets a lot more. You know, this one's really loaded. I got some grass under it I haven't been able to get to because of these limbs. Another good reason to prune. The limbs you don't want to touch or try to stay away from is limbs like this one. It goes down and it actually scotches the ground. There's one. There's 2 or 3 in there. This keeps your plant from rolling over. If you cut them off or too many of them off, your plant will actually fall over. It'll roll over one way or the other, and it could damage it. So be careful cutting the ones off that's actually growing out and holding pressure against the ground. You don't have to remove every one of them at one time. You don't want to do more than probably a quarter, third at the most if you got a really nasty mess. You know, you got limbs all crossed over and you can't get to the fruit. You could remove a little more, but I wouldn't go much more than probably a quarter of the limbs at a time. I have done this over the years, and I've got them 6 and 7 feet long by burying it, pruning it, burying it, keeping it going, keep it standing up, watching which limbs I cut, keeping the fruit off of it, keeping the eggs off of them, the bugs. It takes a while, but you got to be out here every day to keep the bugs off, because they will slip in on you. It's like I spotted them eggs a while ago. I went across it yesterday and got what I thought was everything. There's a few more in here. Anyway, let's get to cutting limbs and get down here. I've done enough talking. Let's put this into action. This is going to be easy. A little hard to do. Get my knife open. I'll use my pocket knife because I'm having to hold the camera and do this at the same time. There, sorry. I know. All messed up. Let me get some of these out of the way. There we go. Now we can see in here a little better. I didn't cut them off right at the stem either. I leave a little bit of room. The plant will close them up. They won't catch water and rot, or they will do just like this right here. They got something, either broke it off or something. Animal might have bit it, I don't know. I might have done it. But see how it closed itself off. It sealed itself up. This one right here is doing the same thing. This is one I probably broke off. Now I'm gonna cut this little one because it ain't doing a whole lot. I'm gonna cut this one off a little shorter because it's out there. Now they will have fluid in them. You will cut into them, sometimes they'll leak. That's the reason you don't want to cut too many at one time. But now we can see better. See, that right there is actually kind of balancing the plant. This one grows up long ways, but it's down against the ground. This one's against the ground. There's one back in there. Take this one off. Get out here we can see. And it's a balancing act. These limbs keep the plant balanced when the wind blows. See, this one's actually one-sided quite a bit, but it can't roll over because it's got limbs sticking out both sides. The last time it had fruit was probably on this side. Yeah, it's right there. So it was balanced, but when I cut the fruit off, it's rolling back over the other direction. That's not in my way. There we go. That's probably all I need to take off this one. But it opened the stem up where we can see it. And take soil soft enough you can push it up around it. Slowly bury it as you go across as these dry up. Add a little more soil. As you get more limbs out this way, you can take this, like this one off and this one off. Just take a couple off the bottom. You can take several off the top. Like I said, it will dry itself up. They'll close off. It'll clean your plant up. You can actually get to the grass that's been hiding down in it, but you couldn't hardly get to. Be a good chance to clean up. I just thought I'd share that. It's something I've been needing to do, and I thought, well, while I'm doing it, I'll share it with somebody else. Somebody might want to do it too. Somebody else might be in the mood to clean up their squash plants. I have some Alexander squash. We got the seed from Hoss Tools a couple years ago. They produce a whole lot of squash really quick. They're a light green color, kind of in between the green zucchini and a yellow summer squash. You have to stay after them. Once they get started, they are fast growing, just like this thing. This Black Beauty is moving on. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Like the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to our channel. God bless.